Hello, hello. Welcome to the Sunday stream. Yes, it is a little last minute. I usually post the night before just to give people some time, but I wasn't sure if I was able to do it this morning or wanted to, but I thought this was a good topic about playing it safe, but more importantly, I wanted to ask, are you the type of person, like me, that waits till the last minute to do things? Generally, I've always been this kind of person. And I did a poll on my channel. And it seems like most people are like that as well. Let me see if I can talk about doing the last minute. Yeah, here we go. Most people here are like me. Nearly 90% of people wait till the last minute to do things. Now, I find this interesting. Hi to the regulars, by the way. I find this interesting because I always tend to wait to the last minute to cram for exams. I've got the whole year or 6 months, or you've got the date to hand in an assignment, and you lay it off. You think, I've got time. And then you think, shit, I'm running late. And it's the same with turning up to events. You don't want to, there's something about, I don't know what it is, but I tend to take my time, allow the event to get closer and closer, and then panic to kind of get there on time or cram for the exam. And I'm not alone in this. I find a lot of people wait to the last minute. And I wanted to talk about why that is, because I think it's more common than not. I think people who have their lives organized, they're in good routines, they're disciplined, they don't have this tick. And most of us do. And the reason I wanted to talk about this and why it resonated with me is I came across this concept. Someone was talking about procrastination and waiting to the last minute and personality types. Just listen to this and see if it applies to you. We cram for exams not because we want an A, but because we're avoiding an F. And to me, that spoke volumes because that's been most of my life. Getting off my ass to avoid something imminent that I could have sort of dealt with early. Because I'm the kind of person, I'll get a bill, and rather than pay it immediately, I will wait till it gets close to the day or right on the day and pay it. And my theory is that not just myself, a lot of us get used to the feeling of relief rather than accomplishment or self-esteem. So we feel good because we dodge bullets, because we just make it. This is exhilaration of just making it, just getting there in time. Whereas the person who pays the bill right away, gets there early, doesn't have the anxiety building up to the deadline. And I feel like it's not a good way to be. And we all know it's not. But I think most of us feel like we just, not that we're wasting time, but there's this kind of giddy excitement to leaving things right to the end where you feel most alive when you're on the edge of falling off the cliff. But again, it's not a good way to be. Wouldn't we all want to have more of a tranquil life where we take care of things early, we start the project right away, even if we've got 6 months to do it and we don't need to rush? Isn't it better? All of us know it's better just to, but then people say, oh, well, if you started early, you need time to think about it. What if you started early, finish it too early, but you could have spent more time really thinking about it? Like, we came up with a lot of excuses, but at the end of the day, we know that when we're cramming for the exam right at the end, there is no benefit other than tapping into survival. And it's that conditioning of yourself to tap into your survival instinct all the time, leaving it to the last minute because you're going to perish because of danger. The only time you get off your ass is because of danger. That is what I find an interesting dynamic that most of us now, especially online, where we don't really have to do anything, it's always urgent, urgent, urgent. That we can't tick something off so it doesn't become urgent. We come up with all manner of excuses to justify urgency. Whereas we're basically lazy until it's urgent. Most people will stay fat all their lives until the doctor gives them a prognosis that they've only got 6 months or a year to live unless they change their diet. And then diet becomes urgent. Then health becomes urgent. But until we have to, until the last minute of the exam where it's do or die, most of us don't do anything. Unfortunately, you might say it's human nature. But I look at all of the problems that I and many of you guys have had, whether it's with relationships, deadlines, completing projects, turning up on time, and we frustratingly leave it to the last minute all the time. And I kind of realize that we're all just, we act on fear and not reward. And the consequences of that is that we never develop the if we're always only feeling alive by avoiding pain at the last minute, we never feel alive then by accomplishment and feeling proud of achievements when we said we'd do it, where we planned, where we took our time, where we made everything perfect because we gave it enough time to do the thing. So we're only feeling a buzz of feeling alive when we allow ourselves to drift closer and closer to the edge of the cliff, rather than never allowing ourselves to get close to the cliff or building barriers. And that's really, to me, playing it safe. Because most people will say, oh, I'm playing it safe. You know, I'm never dating, I'm not working, I'm never taking risks. But you're waiting to the last minute when you have to act and have to take a risk because it's the only thing to do. Most times we think we're playing it safe, but all we're doing is leaving it to the final day of the exam where we have to do something. It's really weird when you think about how our mind works. We think we're playing it safe, but we're postponing a really stressful moment at the end where we're scrambling to survive. Let me know your thoughts below. If you're here during the stream, leave 3 emoji faces right before your comment or question about this topic, about playing it safe and leaving things to the last minute or in your life, and how that's actually been a negative as far as I can see. I can't see many positives other than nervously avoiding what's coming up ahead, pretending, nah, I've got time, it's going to be okay, and pretending it doesn't exist until it actually does. And it's the biggest thing in the room and you can't avoid it. Everything is a drama queen show now. What does that mean? Out there or me? Tracking anything is discomfort. It's more work. Look, if you plan and you and you execute the plan as you go along, like you've planned and you've assessed it and you're following it up until when you want to finish it, then the plan's got you. But if you don't plan and you leave everything to the last minute, it's more work and it's more mental load, especially cortisol and fear. Fitness Freak says, I eat clean every day, 40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% healthy fat. Almost no people can do that. Only eat clean meat, fish, veggies, whole wheat. Good for you. That's good. Most people can't. Yeah, most people make fun of others that are hyper-disciplined. Like, people will make fun of David Goggins. And while he's an extreme example, that's why he's known. I think most people need to take a leaf out of his book and lean in his direction at least. Because it's very easy to make fun of him and say he's extreme or he needs to balance his life a little and eat a donut here and there. But why? So you can feel better about yourself? That's a crabs in a bucket mentality to me. I've thought he's extreme, but I've never thought him as a negative kind of role model or influence. He's obviously, if he wasn't doing what he did and he didn't feel good about himself, he has got a lot of things he's dealing with, and he uses exercise as a method of dealing with things. And he's the first one to tell you he does that. I've seen a couple of clips and interviews of Goggins where he says, I'm not trying to get a good body or be fit. I'm trying to control my brain by exhausting myself and going to extremes. He's doing it for mental reasons, not for physical ones. So I guess he's got his own mental problems and he's doing what he does, but I don't think he ever has to worry about getting fat or being unfit or anything. Although he probably is battering his body, he's going to get physical complications by the amount of punishment he puts his body through. All right. Hey, Karu. Hey, Across. Mr. Adams. Fitness Freak. I haven't seen you before. Super rich men are never really happy. Really? Also, but rich people always also say, I'd rather be rich than poor. So all of us have our own problems. I should probably be drinking less coffee, but let me see the live chat and see what you guys have to say about this. Nothing much. You guys don't have much. You guys are perfect. You don't have much to say about this. Look, human beings learn and have confidence in the world and themselves by knowing what they don't want first. And that's fine. You know what you don't want. You know what you don't want to be, what you don't want to do. You look at people failing and you say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to fail. And so you end up not doing anything. But then you never practice what to do, what little risks to take. And whenever people hear the word risks, it kind of bugs me because everyone avoids any kind of risk to feel smart and justify just being still and not doing anything in their lives. And then blaming the government or women or whatever. It's like, well, dude, you're shutting yourself in at home, shouting loudly about being smart and doing nothing. But nothing's going to happen. The world is not going to knock on your door when you've closed yourself off in your cave and give you something. A woman is not going to knock on your door. A friend is not going to knock on your door. Hey, I'm just in the neighborhood, like I'm looking for a friend. You know, it's not going to happen. So anything you want requires you to make a little bit of an effort towards what you want. And it's not necessarily a risk, although everything is a risk, because if it's not about you and your internal bubble, everything you try, everything you say needs to bounce off other people. You need to cooperate, convince other people, play back and forth, you know, things like that. But I feel like when we condition ourselves just to do nothing and be smart about it or feel smart about it, playing it safe. This lie of playing it safe that a lot of people online love to pat themselves on the back, and then everyone else who's got nothing going on in their life and is afraid to do nothing to try because your other friends online who also aren't trying are the first ones who are going to laugh at you and go, ha ha, loser. Our buddy just tried and he didn't get anything. And you're really stupid, therefore you should just stay here and we shouldn't try and we should all pat ourselves on the back, unlike all of these people out there in the world who are, yeah, some are succeeding, but that was just luck, but you wait until it fails. Yeah, he got the girl, he got married, he got rich, his business is doing well, but you wait until it fails. You wait until taxes increase. You wait until he gets a disability, can't work, then she'll leave him. They're just sitting back justifying any realistic scenario that may happen, which is just part of life. You're never going to be, even if you get really fit, you're not going to stay there unless you maintain it. You're going to get older. You're going to not be able to do things as you age. You can't maintain today, even if it's perfect. Tomorrow is going to be different. You might be in a good mood today. Tomorrow, you're just in a funk for no reason. And all these little got nothing going on, do nothing, justify do nothing people online, they're disappointing as role models to other people who just don't want to do anything. Because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and they get to old age and they really feel the end coming, and they've just burnt every bridge and they're off on their own on an island. But at the back of their head, they go, I'm going to die alone soon. And the younger you are, you think, yeah, that's a romantic, stoic, wolf-like, lone wolf-like experience. But doing nothing and avoiding everything, it's not a good way to live. At the very least, it's because when you leave things to the last minute, when you don't do things that you should do and try, and then feel some accomplishment when you do succeed from time to time, hopefully more times than you fail, but you'll probably fail more times than you succeed, you will never know reward. You will never know feeling proud of yourself because you did things even when it was uncomfortable and you did the right thing. There's nothing better than doing the right thing, regardless of how you feel, consistency, and then achieving the thing that you plan to do because you did these things consistently. You'll never experience the self-esteem of being secure and confident. You'll never experience confidence because if you wait till the last minute and you cram for the exam when you should have been studying for months, you will never know feeling proud. You will only feel relief that you avoided an F. You will never know feeling proud and great and saying, I'm smart because I got an A. You will only feel smart because you didn't get an F. Or if you did, it'll be because the system is rigged. Well, why isn't the system rigged to people that can not wait to the last minute? Boris says, for me, just the ROI. Already, I provide value. Even animals know better than to spend more time than they need in energy for no return. Yeah, don't spend all your energy for no return. Yep. Okay. What does this mean? W someone else will never make you happy. I don't know what these incomplete sentences and acronyms and stuff. Guys, type in sentences. Can we bring back speaking properly and writing properly? I think we watch too many memes. I get memes sent to me, and sometimes I think, I'm just getting old. I don't know this young hip stuff. But people send you these jokes and memes where you have to interpret a visual puzzle. It's like there's an image and then there's a joke and then there's like, I have to interpret a puzzle and I don't get it because it's communicated in this subtext of I need to know a certain type of language. Ain't my fault. If the joke doesn't work, it's not the fault of the joke either has to work or it doesn't. If I didn't procrastinate, I wouldn't do anything. Unfortunately, most people are like that, including me most times, but we frustrate ourselves because we'd rather be not like that. Wouldn't you rather not procrastinate and just do things because you want to do them, when you want to do them, when you should do them? I know you value them more when you do them last minute. You don't want them to slip away and you want to catch them before they fall off the cliff. You do them the last minute, but that's, I know most of us don't want to be like that. We don't like the anxiety of last minute. I don't like the anxiety of last minute. Humans' rival gangs are the crabs in the bucket. Yeah, I think those the rival gangs. I think they've forgotten about me. Thankfully, I don't kind of think about them that often, and I don't think they think about me anymore. Yes, what if are probably the last words of many people, especially when they get old, when they're in the winter years of their lives. Yep. All right. How long have we been going? This might be an actual a very, very short stream. I just felt like talking about this because I thought it was an interesting, very common topic. Not a lot to talk about, but it's very sharp and potent about avoiding the negative. What are the dangers of only avoiding the negative? That's the only time you get off your ass, you have a sense of urgency, and you actually do something with a capital D, like in quotation marks. You actually do something when you want to avoid pain, discomfort. And why you always are invisible and shy and you never feel confident, because you've got no proud accomplishments behind you that you can talk about. If all you've got is, well, whoa, last minute, I avoided this or I avoided that, it's nothing really to be proud of. And online, there are some people that do feel proud of that, but that's all the people that love being victims. All the victim mob that blame the government, blame men, blame women, like everything's unfair, they blame everything. They're the last minute crowd. And I've been in that crowd too. You don't do what you should do when you should do it. You don't try. You wait to the last minute. You hide. You're too quiet. You're very avoidant. Avoidant is the big thing. You know, just avoid everything till you really, really have to. Until there's no choice, avoid everything until there's absolutely no choice but to not avoid it. Not a good way to live. Not a good way to live. You get used to that, then later in your life when you really feel like you should do something, you can't. And you hate yourself that you can't because you really want to, but you have not exercised the muscle internally and you just can't bring yourself to pull the trigger and do it. And I feel like, just in my own example, if I had stayed talking about the same things when I started my channel, not showing my face, rotating the same topics over and over again, perfecting them in my dark little cave in anonymity, being the victim, pointing out some, true things, but in that invisible safety, I would say that my personal life would have stayed the same. I wouldn't have taken some risks and gone for what I wanted to go for and enjoyed walking out in the world and doing this, that, and the other. Yeah, I know. I can only reflect on myself. Don't be reckless, but just take as many risks as you can for what's worth it. If you do things the right way, you take the risk and you don't wait till the last minute, because The more time you take risks ahead of time and you don't wait to the last minute, you've got more time to keep trying and not failing. So if you keep trying before the final exam and you don't just do nothing, you can try and study and take, practice tests and try. And then when you get to the exam, you've got the best chance of getting an A, of succeeding, of not failing. But if you do absolutely nothing, you don't look at the work, you don't put yourself out there, you don't practice anything, and you're leaving everything for the perfect moment right on the edge of the cliff, the chances are you will probably fail. What you're relying on is absolute luck that you're going to make it. And this is what bugs me about the whole dating world, is that they say do nothing. The smartest move is not to play and not to risk and not to open your mouth and don't say this and the world's against you. You're not practicing and trying. So then if you leave it to when you got no choice but to stand up and say something or do something for survival, you will probably fail and you'll say, see, it's not worth it. It's because you didn't try and try every angle to see if it could work. Practice, try. You didn't do it. You stayed there, invisible, and you only popped your head out at the end with absolutely no skill and no experience. So of course you're probably going to fail. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of, well, see, I was right. No, you were right because you did nothing. You waited till the last minute. All right. Aldo says, excessive thinking tends to trap you in cycles of indecision. Yes, this is true. It does not take all that much thinking for it to become excessive. And the older you get, it's a cliche, the older you get, the less you think you know, the less you know. You think you know a lot when you're young, confidence, hubris. I get it. You got a lot of courage. You got a lot of time ahead of you. You can be bold. You can talk a lot of shit, but you have to actually try something to back your shit up. And then you'll find out if it works or not. There's also the cliche that many people say where they're rebellious against their parents, but later on they find out, yeah, my dad was right. My mum was right. The old values were right. Yeah, true. You never fail if you never do anything. You die a winner. I won at my own rules of 0. Yeah, technically you do, but it's an empty victory, you know? If your victory is hollow, in terms of there's nothing substantial there, and someone who actually has a small substantive victory, I'd say theirs is worth more. Especially if you did something, you do something to achieve it, to get it. That's something you can, if you just sit there and say, I died as perfectly as I was born. The 0 of my birth equated to the 0 of my passing, and in between was just a waiting game. And look how, it's kind of like getting a car from the showroom, getting it delivered to your house, not driving it because you don't want to get any miles, putting it in the garage behind glass, and then bragging to everyone about, like, my car is pristine and it's going to gain value because it's untouched all of my life, and you just keep bragging about how much it's worth. You never sell it, you never drive it, but you're bragging about its newness, its perfection, its hidden value that's never touched is somehow worth everything. No. Aldo says, we get addicted to the thrill of doing things under pressure. Discipline is just not all that sexy. Yeah, in comparison, it's not that sexy. At least not until you see the results. Yeah. Most people who are successful, they'll tell you, whatever you might think of Alex Hormozy, he constantly says, and he repeats rich people, that their lives are very boring. Their routines are very boring. If you can get excited by boring, you'll have a good life. If you can get excited by boring stability of a relationship, you'll have a good relationship. If you can get excited by the boring routines of un-Instagrammable things, your life will be content and consistent and stable. It's not an exciting story. It's more exciting to say, I waited to the last minute, or there was a Hail Mary. Bless you. Did you hear my wife's karate sneeze? She sneezes like some kung fu master who's trying to break wood.
This was actually pretty quiet.
Yeah, I know.
It is louder.
It isn't sexy talking about the boring way in which you achieve something over and over again. You achieved it. It's not an exciting story. You know, you tell people, well, if you really want a partner and you want this life and you want kids, you have to date with intent and it's got to be this way. It sounds very boring. Well, you got to go on a date and these are your values and you can't date these people. No, people want an exciting life. They want, I dated the bad boy and he turned into this really nice guy. I dated the hot stripper and lo and behold, we were so compatible and she's so loyal and she doesn't have a kid. And you're going for the unicorn. But people love the unicorn story. They don't love the pedestrian dog story. You know, they don't want the common story, and they know that it takes boring consistency just to get something, but they would rather be lazy, throw a Hail Mary at the last minute and then say, oh my God, can you believe my luck? People would rather say I won the lottery than I struggled for years to be rich. It's good for you, but it's not relatable. Most people are lazy and they would rather have the lottery story. The story of, I was a lazy prick and one day at the supermarket, I caught eyes with this other person and we fell in love and, you know, they changed my world and I changed. People love these fantasy unicorn stories. The boring stuff is where it's at, but most people don't like boring because you watch unboring every day as you scroll through your phone. The stuff that gets your eyes isn't the boring stuff. The stuff you constantly watch that gets your eyes and makes you want to click. The clickbait is the ridiculous stories. It's the big claims. It's the Hail Marys. It's the on the edge of the cliff, last minute. Watch this person escape death. Watch this person wait till the last minute to blah, blah, blah. It's not exciting to watch a video where watch this person do the sensible thing and do one thing after another, after another, after another, and they finally get the predictable outcome that they got. It's like, yeah, I know, boring. I want to watch someone get the thing that they shouldn't have got. And we justify our laziness that way. So, Karu says, the system is always rigged. It's the laws, it's physical looks, it's women, it's always something else. Yeah, just realize that the system is a system. Think of the system like a chessboard. It's not a person, it's just the structure. 64 squares, and that's the way it's played. And certain people play certain roles and decide to, and they're born certain ways. Most of us are pawns. Some people are, knights or queens or kings or whatever. But the system is just the way it is. And it's just the way that you try to behave. What piece you try to be. If you're left to your own devices, most people just get lazy and they become a pawn. You don't have to become like an evil queen, but you can decide how you want to play and whether you want to move the way they expect you to move in the game. But the system's always rigged to extract resources from people and use you. But being a victim and just pointing to the system, it's like you're just pointing to a chessboard. Big deal. Yeah, good for you. Chessboard's not going to change. Peg says, I think when you get older, kicking the can down the road isn't an option. Yeah, you can't just keep doing that. When you're younger, you can. You can keep stalling the inevitable. You can stay fat in your 20s, maybe in your 30s, but when you start getting into your 40s, you realize, there's not too many really walrus huge people past 50 and alive. There just isn't. I'm going to be the exception. Yeah, keep living your life that way. Keep living it by being the exception, by the unicorn stories. Organize, strategize, divide, and conquer. Face it. If you don't do it, you won't get done. Yeah. It's not sexy, but it's the only way you're going to get stuff. And I think you get more used to boring, getting things done the way they, mow the lawn, clean the house, go for a walk, eat good food. It's not complicated, but you're not going to get views online. And too many people have been calibrated by the rules of life, by what they see online, by young, pretty 20-somethings telling you the way it is. It's like, I'm glad about your confidence, but I don't buy it. Ted 1776 says, I want a car with low mileage. Pro tip, this is not about cars. Yeah. I want a woman who's had a low body count, but I want her to be an absolute monster in bed. From what experience, dude? Oh, she just is magically. Peg says, hi, Steph.
Hi, Peg. Hope she's well.
She says, hope you're well. Yeah, thanks, Aldo. Thanks for the super chat. He says, the bad choices accumulate over the years. Diet for sure, but all of them. Yes, it's true. I think you can't... Oh, Luke also says hi. Steph is out of camera. Bless you. Getting delayed comments from when you sneezed.
Oh.
Could you guys hear her? Because this microphone actually cuts down a lot of noise that's further away. Winning the lottery without doing the work usually ends up in tragedy because we do not appreciate what we don't earn. Thus, we do not safeguard and maintain. Yes.
Disagree.
Yeah, you just want to win the lottery. That's why.
Yeah, I would enjoy it so much.
Yeah, but everyone says that. But look, I agree. There's something about being proud of the effort you put in. I'm not saying you're not going to appreciate a lottery win. You're going to go ecstatic and you're going to enjoy it. But the maintenance of it and the holding on to it and doing the things that keep you healthy and proud and maintaining it, when things are handed to you, when you don't put in any kind of effort, if you don't have any commitment to the effort that gave it to you, you don't kind of get any mastery or feeling like, yeah, I did that. It's nice to get a bouquet of flowers. I know. But I know as a guy, even when I don't want to do something, when I clean my car, when I mow the lawn, which I hate doing, once I do it and I look at my accomplishment, it's like I feel really good. Now, if I paid someone to do my lawn, it would look good, but I'll be like, I just threw money at them and I gave them my time to do the lawn. And yeah, it looks nice, but I don't get that sense of accomplishment. So I think for a guy, feeling a sense of accomplishment is a really big thing that a lot of people who just want the bouquet of flowers don't feel. Aldo says, there's a reason those dumb jocks are successful in more practical pursuits. They may not be a good model to admire, but we can learn a thing or two from them. Yeah. The do-bros that are plumbers and mechanics and carpenters, yeah, it's a really good bubble of discipline and self-esteem and practical control of your life because you know how to survive and do things. A lot of guys who can survive on their own, who have practical skills, that's real confidence. They're the guys that they really feel, and guys that know how to fight. They know that they can put their hands on the world, other people, keep themselves safe, survive while most of the people may not. You have a sense of confidence that you can survive with your own hands. Silva says, I had the unicorn until it became boring for her and she moved on. I thought she understood butterflies are temporary and life is a marathon. Yeah, we talked a little bit about this last night, about the differences of how people fall in love. Stephanie and I, we might do a stream about it, or I might do a video where most people fall in love with the lifestyle. It's not just the honeymoon period, but their actual, how they lock into a person and what they appreciate is everything other than the person. And I was talking about all the messages I got growing up, where I was taught if I want to find someone, I have to have all these things around me. If I was told, if you don't want kids, Bobby, then no woman's going to have you. If you don't want to do this, if you don't have a good job, if you don't this. And I kind of got it from a practical sense. Like, I want those things for myself as well. I want to work and have a roof over my head, and I want to feel safe in my own life. But when they told me you're not going to find love until you have all these things, where essentially they're saying it's not about you. They don't love you. They love all the things you can do for them. I intuitively know that's not love. That's just provision and protection, and I get it. But that's not actually loving a person. If you actually focus all of your attachment on me, the person, you like being with me, no matter what happens, even if we live under a bridge, it is about me. I am the last thing you will let go of because it's about me. That is what it should be about. And everyone's telling me, no, you're being delusional. You're looking for a unicorn. Well, if it's a choice between pretending to say I love you to someone until one of us loses our looks, our jobs, whatever, that's not love. Like, if the person I say I love, I only love them when they're young and beautiful, and then they get old, and then it's like, well, you're not the same person that's not love. And people say you're being naive, but then that's just giving you the excuse to you define love as a materialistic thing. And if you do, fine, but then stop complaining that, oh, you can't trust women, you can't trust men, you can't. Like, you define relationships that way. So don't complain about not having anything deeper or more meaningful. But sorry to hear about the unicorn, Silva. Most people are like that. Most people just like the lifestyle that they have with the person that they meet. And then they'll say, well, later when the life around them changes, the person doesn't change. This is the thing. You don't change, but something in your life that they like, the part of your lifestyle, whether it's your job or you got an injury, you can't work, or your looks, or whatever it might be, that changes, your status changes. All of a sudden they say, well, I didn't sign up for this. You changed, man. It's like, no, they didn't change. The things around them changed. But you never liked them. You never loved them. It doesn't matter who built the system. The system's over time been built the way it is, and that's the way it is. We spend too much of our time forensically navel gazing at these little questions that don't mean anything. They're not going to make your life any better. Yeah, learn the system, learn its rules, and be adventurous enough to take a few risks. Know when to take them. Most importantly, be attentive. And also, don't always just move the way you're supposed to move. Don't call yourself a pawn or make yourself into a queen just to be as bad as the people you never respected anyway. Just understand the board is the board and you have to move on the board. But don't just do what they want you to do. Don't buy into the shame, and don't believe the definition of yourself or how life is supposed to be done. Be realistic, be attentive, as Aldo says, but thanks for the super chat, Aldo. I think that was the same message you posed before. Things handed to you equals winning. Yeah. Insecure winning. If you wait for things to be handed to you, you're always in a state of insecurity because you never make it happen, so you can never feel secure in yourself. You are always going to be out with a hand out to the world and blaming the world for not giving you something. Not to say that everything's your fault, but I think as much responsibility as you can take now to do something now to avoid pain later is the most control you're ever going to have. Yeah, manual labor jobs. Yeah. Your internal belief system and the way you feel inside, despite, again, stoically, it's how you react to the world. It's trite, but it is that way. Fitness Freak says, yes, that's true. Women a lot of times are together with a man because of the lifestyle. Yeah. The root word of materialism is mater in Latin, and mater is mother in German. Not that the correlation actually is one-to-one, but it is correlated. Sean says, Adam Cleary put it best, women don't just want men anywhere near as much as men want women. Yeah, men are wired to want women. Men are born to lie down in traffic for women. Women are much healthier in the way they view men. They talk about men, they want men, but with a sense of, oh, hang on a minute, let me not jump in, let me assess this, let me talk to them, let me observe him. Men just dive in. Men are careful with most things. With women, they're not. Afterwards, after they get hurt, then they assess it with clarity. But then as soon as they get in front of a woman, most men just do the same thing, jump off the cliff, and then blame the cliff. Aldo says, this is why I don't understand women wanting to date perfection rather than helping a man they are truly attracted to for just him and mold himself into something better. Yeah, but oh, look, it's same as women. I don't want to be a girl's father. I don't want to constantly prop up a train wreck. And I don't think a woman wants to either. It doesn't mean you need to man up all the time, but both men and women should help each other out. If you love the person, you care about them, your first instinct is to embrace them and help them up because you appreciate when they do the same to you. Like friends as well. Your first instinct with a good friend is not to what's in it for me. It's to understand, to help, to be a good person because they reciprocate, hopefully, to you. But it's when it's one-sided. Guys just go in being one-sided. Women expect it to be one-sided, most of them. And that's what you have to really train yourself to believe what you're experiencing when you go on a date. Despite the girl being really hot, you have to put blinders on. Yes, she's hot. Okay, tick, put it off to the side. All your attention now is whether there's anything beneath the hot. Or if it's all window dressing, desperate window dressing, because there's nothing underneath. Or worse, there's a dragon underneath. A lot of really beautiful women overdo the looks, mainly because underneath is a bear trap. And that's why they're single. You think, oh my God, I'm so lucky. Look at this hot chick in her 40s, like me. Who would have thought? What? No one sees her. Quickly, let me grab her because before these idiots who don't see her grab her. It's like, no. Talk to her. Most times, most really hot people or superficially attractive people, rich people, they're very hard to get along with. I'm not saying all. Yeah, you can get the unicorn every now and then. You can get the exception. But again, the boring person, the boring way to date, no one's really interested in it. Yeah, this is true. 80% of people out aren't looking for love. They're chasing a fantasy. That's true. they've got this fantasy in their head. And I saw a little clip recently where, you know, the young guys, they go around with a microphone in the streets at clubs in Miami and, you know, around America and stuff. And he put the microphone up to this normal looking chick going out clubbing. She was a 6 or a 7, right? And she's like, what do you want from a guy? And she's like, he's got to be rich as fuck, Elon Musk rich, and I won't accept anything less. And you could say, yeah, she's just being whatever. But, you know, she's the extreme. A lot of girls her friends are just beneath her. They're very difficult for the guys they're with because this is what they want underneath. Like, they might accept a little bit less if the guy's hot or he's got a nice car, but they're really pushing for more. They're pushing for the limit. And you might say, yeah, reach for the stars. But realistically, dude, not for other people. Reach for the stars in terms of yourself. Like, try and achieve the most you can. But when you take that, reaching for the stars, and you put it all on someone else, like as a guy saying, the only woman I will marry is a Victoria's Secret model with an IQ above 150 who has got 5 postdoctorate degrees, and she's blah. Look, you just make them like the Elon Musk of the perfect woman and saying, nah, I'm not accepting anything less. Mind you, you're an invisible 4 or a 3. You're nothing special. The only thing that speaks loud about you is your arrogant voice, is your delusional grandeur about what you expect from women, the world, and life, and how it's not fair, and you just should get it bestowed upon you because, I don't know, you're you. You know, the world isn't your mother. You're not that special. Ted says Marta in Spanish means kill. Doesn't Marta in Spanish also mean mother, though? Maybe it's spelt matar. Madre is mother. Okay. What do you know? She knows Spanish.
Oh, a tiny bit. My mom speaks Spanish.
Well, you know more than me. Lust is the greatest clouder of judgment. Yes, but it's up to you to insist that you don't get anesthetized. You don't get sort of drunk on looks. We can all say, yeah, when I go on a date, I can't help myself. I need to kind of down 5 bottles of scotch and I can't help it. Then I'm drunk in front of women. But you know, you would date better if you didn't down the alcohol and you would stay sober. Stay sober. You know you should, so do it. But I can't help it. I got to drink. Well, then that's on you. It is. You're blaming men. I'm blaming you for drinking. If someone drinks, drives, causes an accident, you don't blame the drink. Oh, if alcohol, you're just in the fat people camp of blaming McDonald's that you're fat. You need to acknowledge, we need to acknowledge what is what. Why do I get onto these topics? Everyone loves talking about, see, they say, stop talking about men and women so much, but everyone loves talking about men and women and relationships. All right. Any last messages, and let's wrap this up. Don't get your Greek and Latin roots mixed up. Yes. My ex-girlfriend left me for a super rich man. She got designer bags every week and travel every month from him. Well, good for her. Enlightenment is playing it safe if you don't do anything with it. I think all the information, even the useful information in the manosphere, is useless unless you apply it. Like, none of it is useful unless you apply it. You can say, I know this, I know the truth, but if you don't use the truth and see the results of it, the beneficial results, then it's for nothing. Yeah. Yeah, drink a lot, and even, yeah, how many times have you heard someone say, the more I drink, the better looking women become? The more drunk you are, the worse kind of people you're going to be around, the worse your judgment is going to be. Ted says, I'm done with dating. Dating is a dangerous minefield. Waste of time, not worth it. Yeah, if you tried and it's not worth it, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't think I've shamed anyone for not dating. You hear a lot of people shaming others for dating, though. You still have to take risks. A lot of people would argue you don't have to. That you don't, but not making a choice, as is often said, is still a choice. If you do nothing, that's still a choice. You can't avoid making choices. So I would finally say, reiterate that the dangers of being avoidant, of, acting only on fear and not reward, being lazy and waiting to the last minute for the exam, is that you never know self-esteem and confidence. You'll only know the feeling of relief. That's the only feel-good feeling you'll have. You will never be able to feel the confidence that you've got your hands on the world and you can make things happen. You can keep yourself safe. You'll never feel that. You'll always feel, I just avoided a bad thing. I was lucky. I'm still here. It's operating on the survival instinct. No, look, society by default does not incentivize exceptionally good-looking people to develop and maintain a good personality. No, it doesn't. But also, exceptionally good-looking people do get a leg up and can achieve more if they want to. I've always said to women that are just above average, all you need to do to get from a 6 to a 9 or a 10 is be nice. Just don't be an asshole, and you've already won. So just do something positive for yourself or around other people. Funny thing on the mainstream news this week, women stopped taking the pill because it stunts their desire, lust, and them calling it the next step in feminism. Really? So feminists have stopped taking the pill, saying that it chemically stunts their lust and desire. Yeah, maybe it's like guys aren't desiring them. They're projecting. I don't know. If you're not ugly, you just need to chuck on a short skirt. But if you've got a bad attitude, you might as well have not chucked on the short skirt. It's just, I'd say it's frustrating for women. You know you're hot, but no guy wants to be with you. And they go, I don't get it. Well, maybe it's what's coming out of your mouth and how you treat people. But I don't want to be nice. I'm like this. And people, if they don't like it, that's their problem. No, it's your problem too. You keep saying it's everyone else's problem, but in the end, it's your problem. All right. I think we wrap it up. How long have we been going? Nearly an hour. Beautiful. Perfect time to wrap up. Let me see if I can actually wrap up right now instead of saying I'm going to wrap up and then I keep waffling on. I bet you I can do it. You think I can do it?
Well, let's see.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
I believe in you, babe.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day, and I will catch you later. Comments below, and adios. Bye.